Okay, we've made it through the screening, resume, screening. You've been invited for an interview. How do you show up for an interview? What do you want to see when somebody walks in the door?
Well, for me, Eddie, pretty much the first impression counts. So,
Yes.
which will be your attire, right?
You're looking very sharp.
Exactly. I want to see you looking sharp. It's not always about wearing the uniform, but of course, wear something appropriate. You may not have the uniform. If you do, hey, it's a plus because that's pretty much what you're going to be wearing every day. Your students are looking up to you as well, the way you dress,
Mm.
right? So that's pretty much the first thing I would look to see. Hey, how is this person? How is their attire? Like when they step into the room, did they stand out? Did they, look professional? So I'm looking at that. That's the first thing I'm looking at, pretty much.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, last group of interviewees, we had 11 people interview after screening. We had 11 people interview. We hired seven, right?
Correct.
Uh, so we let's see, had one gentleman in a suit. I liked the effort. He looked sharp. It was a nice suit. We had people just in like shirts with a tie or no tie, nice little button up. Um, don't think we had anybody in t-shirts this time, but t-shirts not a good look if you're coming for a job interview. At least a polo, something. The uniform is best because, boom, you're a pilot. You're wearing a uniform. I get it, right?
Exactly.
If you are uniform averse, you don't want to wear a uniform, you might be in the wrong field, all right? Because the pilot uniform, the stripes convey credibility, professionalism. Nice clean shirt is very nice, right? So, uh, yeah, dress for success, right?
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. You might be a 200 hour, 250-hour student, Part 61 your whole life. $22, you have a pilot shirt. Walk into any pilot shop, order it online, right? Or at least a button up, right? Okay, so you come in. Uh, Now, at this point in the interview process, we know you've got the hours, you've got the ratings, you know how to fly. At least we assume you know how to fly because you've passed half a dozen check rides, right, to get here. So at this point, we're looking for somebody we can work with. Somebody you can hang out with, somebody you can have lunch with. Somebody you can entrust your students, your buddies. Your niece is going to come in for flight training. You want to know that you can trust John with your niece. All right. So yeah, I think that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody I can work with.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're here pretty much like a family, Eddie, and we don't want somebody to be, like pretty much
Agreed.
to themselves. We're all open up. Feel free. We want somebody that is approachable,
Mm-hmm.
right? That be able to speak out. Because at the end of the day, it's networking, like you said, and communication it's key pretty much around here.
Absolutely. So I'm going to steal this directly from Captain Yu. If you're looking at the podcast, scroll back a couple of episodes to Captain Stephen Yu. He was a recruiter for SkyWest and now he's at American Airlines. And he's fond of saying, like, look, if you're at an American Airlines interview, you make all the qualifications or you wouldn't be sitting there, right? Now I got to know if I can spend a 3 day trip with you. Right? Uh, so it's kind of the same thing. We're going to be spending the next year, maybe 2 years together. I'm going to be trusting you with a lot of students. You're going to be spending a lot of time with them, right? So I want to get to know you. Uh, we have, gosh, I wish I probably have it tucked away over here, but I have a list of questions. When we do our interviews together, I ask kind of broad HR questions, and Mario asks a little bit more technical CFI questions. So I always like to open up, after the resume review. Okay, we look over your resume, everything looks good. Maybe there's something interesting. I always like to say, how did you get here, right? What's your origin story? How did you get into aviation, right? So think about it. Have that origin story ready. Your uncle was a pilot. You lived next to the airport. You had your favorite blue orange airplane, from when you were 6 years old. Have that nice little origin story. Give us a background on how you got here, right? That's what I would open up with. How about yourself?
Okay, on the technical side, I'm pretty much trying to see if you still have that, I would say, technical skills coming from I would say, your initial check right as an instructor. So I would pretty much ask you a couple of regulation questions. So one of my favorite questions would be like, hey, how many hours can you actually give a flight instructor for within a 24 hours period? Right? So automatically, for you guys, who know it, it's 8 hours, right? Max. But here, in a training environment, you may end up spending 12 hours on location, right?
Okay.
Because you may have a night flight, you may have to take a lunch, etc. So you may end up being here what we call like duty time,
Mm.
12 hours, but you cannot give more than 8 hours of flight instruction
Mm.
within 24 hours period. So that would be like my kickoff question pretty much, which is more on the regulation side.